From Minnesota's news channel, KSTP Channel 5, this is Eyewitness News.
The Minnesota machines the two California gray whales love so well are in place and they are on the job. It's hoped that they will lure the whales out of their icy cage to freedom some 4 miles away. Good evening, everybody. I'm Stan Turner, and thank you very much for joining us tonight, this Saturday evening. We will have more on Minnesota's contributions to the efforts to free those whales. We'll have that for you in just a moment. But first off, the latest on the whales themselves. Scientists say that the smallest and the weakest of the 3 whales is missing, and they believe that whale is dead. The whales have been trapped in the ice for 2 weeks now, fighting for air, and witnesses say the whale, nicknamed Bone, appeared sick and listless when it was last seen yesterday. As for the other 2, there's a sign that the grueling rescue operation may be making progress, and its key may very well lie with a Minnesota company's machine. 13 of them arrived this afternoon at 3 o'clock Twin Cities time on a KSTP Eyewitness News plane after a trip covering more than 2,900 miles way up there to Point Barrow, Alaska. Jason Davis and an Eyewitness News crew were on board to see the machines in action firsthand, and here's their first report.
The 13 de-icers we brought with us were quickly pressed into service in the holes in the ice. It's these Minnesota-made products that everyone here agrees have kept this project going. Rick Sklusarczyk is the son of the owner of the company who makes the water agitators and has been working here on the ice for several days. Well, Rick, you've seen the whales here this afternoon. Obviously, at least these 2 are healthy. What does it make you feel since your product is largely responsible for this?
It makes me feel real good. It's too bad it looks like the one's gone, but we're not going to stop till we can come up with a good resolution for the 2 of these here.
It's a gratifying task when the 2 remaining whales are so close and so friendly. That must make you feel very good.
Yes, it does. The other night when we finally got out on the ice and got the first unit in, we cleared away about 10 feet of slush, and immediately the whales came up right within a foot or 2 of the de-icer.
We ran into another old friend here today, polar explorer Geoff Carroll, who we last met when he was part of the Will Steger expedition to the North Pole. Geoff, you've been studying whales for years. What do you think the chances are of getting these whales across this ice and through that ridge?
Well, this whole project is a real long shot, you know. I mean, no use pretending that this is a foregone conclusion we're going to get these guys out of here. If the weather...
Spitting all over us, Geoff.
Oh, they do that. Yeah, you know, if the weather favors us and, you know, if the whale's health holds up, then maybe we'll get them out of here.
The work of hundreds of volunteers and the spending of tens of thousands of dollars have got these whales about a mile towards the open sea. There's about 3.5 miles to go before they reach the final barrier, and that's one we're not sure they can get across, and that's the ice ridge. But everyone here is determined to stay and try. Jason Davis, Channel 5 Eyewitness News on the Arctic Ocean near Barrow, Alaska.
Those are marvelous pictures there from Alaska. Let's join Jason Davis live now on the telephone from Point Barrow, Alaska. Jason, what exactly is the plan tomorrow? We understand that some other equipment has arrived and other rescue gear is on the way. Is that right?
Well, Stan, I can begin by telling you that no effort or expense is being spared to save these 2 whales. I've been in this business for 20 years. I've traveled all over the world. I've never seen anything like this. There are hundreds of people. There are tens of thousands of dollars being spent. Just an hour ago, a C-5A, the largest aircraft in the free world, landed here and dropped off another piece of equipment, something unique and bizarre called an Archimedean auger. Now, I won't even try to explain what that is. We'll show you it in action hopefully tomorrow, but it's yet another arrow or shell in the fight to save these whales. It is absolutely overwhelming. There are reporters from all over the world here. I've run into people I've known for 15 and 20 years that have found their way here to cover this incredible story. I ran into an English reporter today that said that it's front page news all over Britain. They're following it avidly all over the world. Stan?
That's amazing, Jason. Now, I want to just recap what you said a moment ago. The 2 surviving whales, they have, little more than 3 miles to go before they're finally out of their icy entrapment and out on the open ocean.
I wish that was true. There's one final barrier. There is a sea ice ridge, a pressure ridge, and that reaches from the bottom of the ocean to way above the surface. And they're talking about using dynamite to get through that. They're not sure at all how they're going to cut a channel through that for the whales, and if they do, whether the whales will go through it. So even if they get them the extra 3 miles or so to the pressure ridge, no one's certain that they can get them through the pressure ridge. In fact, Geoff Carroll, who is an expert in these matters, was very skeptical.
Yeah, the issue is still very much in doubt, Jason. Thank you very much for that report tonight, Jason. And of course, we'll be hearing from Jason on Eyewitness News at 5:30 and 10 tomorrow on the progress being made there. We'll keep you posted. Investigators are beginning to close in now on the cause of that underground pipeline rupture in Shoreview last week. This morning, crews unearthed the section that split open during Monday's high-pressure water tests, and both federal inspectors and Williams pipeline officials agree that some third party is responsible for the leak. A Williams official says it's obvious something hit the pipe, but an official of Mounds View is not satisfied, saying such pipelines are not safe. 2 people died in Mounds View when a pipeline ruptured and burst into flames 2 years ago. British newspapers are the latest battleground as Pillsbury fights to stave off a corporate takeover. The Minnesota-based company has taken out full-page ads in several British papers, including the London Times, questioning the leadership capabilities of Alan Shepard. He's chairman of Grand Metropolitan PLC, that's the would-be buyer of Pillsbury. Those ads depict Shepard as having flip-flopped on Grand Metro's business strategies throughout the 1980s. The IDS Center's Crystal Court was transformed tonight into a grand ballroom. The Crystal Ball is a black-tie charity event to raise money for the Illusion Theater of Minneapolis. The Crystal Court echoed with live dance music that kept these people on their toes tonight, and a magician kept the audience mesmerized. Looks like Hondo right there. This third annual event hopes to raise nearly $90,000 for the Illusion Theater. Now, don't raise your hopes for a warm Sunday, my folks. That would be an illusion. In fact, it's going to snap with cold. I think cold does snap, doesn't it, Karen?
Cold snaps? Yeah, you betcha cold snaps. Boy, I wish I had a crystal ball. I need all the help I can get at this point. All right, we have some colder air on the way, a little bit of moisture, a very strong weather system. We've already had a few showers, even a few thunder showers in the metro area. And you can take a look at the radar behind me here. Much of the activity has now moved on into western Wisconsin, but it's going to be redeveloping. The front hasn't even come through yet. So overnight here in the Twin Cities, we'll have a few showers, and toward dawn, it could be a mixture of rain and snow. Overnight temperatures will be 39 to 44 degrees, and those winds, Stan, the winds are going to cut right through you.
Have mercy, Karen, please, 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 please.
Okay.
Sounds like a smorgasbord for weather tomorrow. We'll get back to you later. Coming up next, Hurricane Joan takes dozens of lives in Central America. You'll hear what damage that storm has done so far. And you'll hear just what it takes to treat dangerous sex offenders. The question is it enough?
This is not an illness for which you prescribe medication.
Here are some of the top stories around the world tonight. The death toll has now risen to 50 from Hurricane Joan. As Joan passed over Nicaragua, her winds weakened, but 70-mile-per-hour gusts still damaged buildings and left thousands homeless. 140 people are still missing. There are at least 2 people now missing from that Greek ship that sank after this Italian freighter hit it. The 470 British students and their teachers on board the ship flew home today. In Dallas, 1 man is dead and 3 people are wounded after a shootout at the Texas State Fair. Dallas police suspect a racial brawl may have started that shooting. And in New York City, 12,000 of New York's finest attended the funeral of 2 fellow officers. The dead policemen were killed last Tuesday night in separate drug-related slayings. Tonight, a 55-year-old Minneapolis man remains in jail with bond set at $75,000. He's accused of taking sexually suggestive photos of young girls. As we told you earlier this week, Norman Cannon was committed to the State Security Hospital in St. Peter in 1975 for treatment for child molesting, but he was released because officials believed he was no longer dangerous. Jackie Renner reports tonight on how often the expert judgment is wrong and what can be done about it.
The Minnesota Security Hospital in St. Peter provides one of a half-dozen treatment programs in the area for sex offenders. Behind these locked doors, rapists and child molesters try to alter their behavior. The facility's medical director, Dr. William Erickson, says it's a complicated process.
This is not an illness for which you prescribe medication. It's a pattern of behavior. And if you want to think about, if you want a model to use to understand the role of treatment, you might think about alcoholism.
Erickson says just 4% of the sex offenders who complete treatment at the security hospital are arrested for another sex crime. About the same rate, the state says sex offenders who are sent to prison rather than treatment commit new sex offenses. But even those figures seem too high to many people, particularly in light of 2 tragic murders this summer. The men accused of the parking rat murders of Carrie Coonrod and Mary Foley both had prior records for sex crimes. Hennepin County Attorney Tom Johnson co-chaired a task force studying ways to deal with repeat sex offenders. Among the recommendations, a new law that would impose a test before certain sex offenders are freed.
Before that person would be released then from prison, there would have to be a demonstration that he no longer is a danger to society.
Even with changes in state laws, officials know they won't keep all sex offenders from committing new crimes, but they hope to see it happening less frequently. Jackie Renner, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
After a week of dog bites man and women and children stories in our area, something of a switch tonight. This time around, it's a dog that's the victim and a human being the villain. Meet Lucky, so named because she has survived a bullet wound to the neck in somebody's effort to leave her in a junk pile. That's where Trent Hald found the wounded pooch while hunting near Rush City. Trent took her to a veterinarian who dressed Lucky's bullet wound, gave her shots, and cleaned her up. Trent doesn't know who shot Lucky or where she lives, but he does know he's inclined to give her a home at his home out in Richfield. Up next, the chilly details from Karen Falloon about Sunday. That's tomorrow. And guess what? She's even going to talk about the chance for snow for this time, the first time this year, this season. And later, the story of a Twin Cities musician who has dozens of friends to help him in his time of need. The weather, if you like today, you're going to loathe tomorrow. Karen Falloon, the S word is back in the forecast. Huh?
Yes, it is. I've had quite a few people calling wanting to know if the rumor they heard was true. Are we going to get snow in the metro area? That's a toughie. I'll tell you why. This is the time of the year when it is toughest, that transition period from the summer into winter. If it were cold all the time, I would say, yes, we're going to get snow. But the problem is the cold air going to make it, I mean the really cold air that we need, going to make it in time to meet the moisture, to change that rain over to snow? That's the big question. Right now, it looks like at best we could see a mixture of rain and snow, and for a time, there might be a few scattered snow showers, but I think the accumulations will be over northern Minnesota. Right now on the radar, what we're looking at is all liquid. Formerly thunder shower activity that's now moved on into central Wisconsin. Rain showers light to moderate in intensity moving through northwestern and western Wisconsin. Some more redeveloping up to the north of the Twin Cities, and it now looks like that's developing toward the northwestern suburbs. Traveling southward here, everything is moving to the east while it's developing to the south, toward the metro area. Right now, it doesn't look as though there's anything significant in western Minnesota. However, there are a few scattered flurries out there, a few scattered showers out there that could very well become flurries or snow showers here on the backside of the front, which is already pushed into western Minnesota. On the backside, colder air is coming in on northwesterly winds that range anywhere from 25 to 45 miles an hour. Rapid City here and portions of eastern South Dakota have already reported winds gusting to 50 miles an hour. Now this front is moving through western Minnesota, should be coming through the metro area between midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning. Out ahead of that system, our winds will continue out of the south and will continue with rain showers. Since that front is expected to come through here between 2 and 3 o'clock, some of the rain showers could become mixed with snow before dawn. Right now, though, we have nothing but cloudy skies over the metro area. Much of the shower activity, or what's left of it, is out to the east of us and moving to the east. We have right now 48 degrees. Our dew point is 35. The relative humidity is 60%. The winds are out of the southeast at 17 miles an hour, and that pressure continues to fall. Now for tomorrow here in the metro area, we can expect that mixture of rain and snow down through Rochester and up through St. Cloud. A little farther to the north, there may be a dusting of snowfall from Bemidji to Brainerd to Taylor's Falls and through northwestern Wisconsin. The snow accumulations of 1 to 2 inches possible from Duluth, Hibbing, Grand Rapids up through northeastern Minnesota, International Falls. That's where the heaviest snow amounts will be. And over western Minnesota, I think you'll notice here cloudy skies over the northwest and partly cloudy over the southwest. Here in the metro area for tonight, we're looking at showers with temperatures dropping to near 40 degrees. Waking up, a mixture of rain and snow at 42. The rest of the day, there may be some snow showers. Could be mixed with a little bit of rain. We'll have to wait and see. Keep your eyes peeled. Windy and cooler, though, with those highs only in the lower 40s. Sunday night and Monday turning colder still. Flurries possible overnight on Sunday night in the upper 20s to lower 30s. High on Monday near 40. Tuesday and Wednesday look pretty good. Partly cloudy skies. But then on Thursday, with the cooler air in place, we could get another mixture of rain and snow with the next low pressure system to come in. So Stan, we need to keep our eyes open tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right now, I think it'll be a mixture of rain and snow, but at times it may be all snow.
Because of that, I'm not going to the beach tomorrow, Karen. Good idea?
Good idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
Picnic inside.
That's it. Thank you. With a snow shovel. The Vikings look forward to a Central Division battle at Tampa Bay. I'm sure they'll get it. And the Gophers are undone in their bid to pick up their first win in the Big Ten. Sports with Mr. Ed right after this. I do remember it well, Ed. It was down at the Brickyard down the street there at the old Memorial Stadium, 1981.
And it was 7 years ago.
Yeah, and the Gophers won.
Yes.
They defeated the Buckeyes.
And they have not done it yet.
They didn't do it
yet again. No, they didn't.
Get the drift, folks.
They entered this game, with the Buckeyes, with the dubious distinction of not having won a Big Ten game this year, and they still haven't. The Gophers lost to the Buckeyes tonight at the Metrodome, 13-6. Minnesota traded field goals with Ohio State in the first quarter, but should have had more. They dropped two like this, almost back-to-back. It's that kind of thing that didn't get done. In the second quarter, Ohio State's Carlos Snow set sail on this 27-yard touchdown run, and the Buckeyes had a 10-3 lead. Minnesota connected on a 39-yard field goal. It was 10-6, and that ended the Gophers scoring. Minnesota quarterback Scott Schaffner marched Minnesota down to the 1-foot line, carrying the ball there himself on that scramble, but the Gophers failed to get the ball into the end zone from there. The Buckeyes took over on downs with less than a minute left and ran out the clock for that 13-6 win. Minnesota is still winless in the Big Ten with just 4 games remaining. So Minnesota goes down to defeat to Ohio State tonight. This afternoon, Iowa was an easy winner over Purdue. The same for Indiana over Michigan. Michigan State got by Illinois, and at Wisconsin beating Northwestern 14-3. In action tonight, the Sooners had their hands full with Colorado at Colorado, but they managed to hang in there. Here's quarterback Charles Thompson scoring early. They stayed tied or just ahead all night until time finally ran out. The final in the rarefied air of the Rockies was Oklahoma 17, Colorado 14. Here's how it stacked up around the country today. Top-ranked UCLA, a winner over Arizona. Then look at some of the big numbers that the ranked teams put up. Notre Dame big over Air Force. Miami huge over Cincinnati. About the same for Nebraska over Kansas State. 54-19 the verdict, West Virginia over Boston College. Florida State huge numbers over Louisiana Tech. Oklahoma beating Colorado tonight, as you saw. Clemson, the only upset, 9th ranked by North Carolina State, and Auburn with a 33-point shutout of Mississippi State. Gopher hockey team is unbeaten after 4 games, winning their latest this afternoon in overtime at Mariucci Arena. They defeated Denver 4-3 in OT. The Gophers trailed 3-1 in the third, then came back to tie it up. This shot on the point from Tom Pedersen caromed off Pete Hankinson's skate and tied the game at 3. Then in overtime, the Gophers scored when Lance Pitlick threw a pass cross ice to Corey Leyland, who backhanded the game winner in. A 4-3 overtime win over the Denver Pioneers. Next week, the Gophers host North Dakota in a weekend pair at Mariucci Arena. On the professional side of things, the North Stars started fast against the Kings in LA tonight. Skating in 4-on-2, Dave Gagne scored, giving Minnesota a 1-0 lead, but the Kings then responded with 3 first-period goals, and they now lead it 3-1, starting the second period. The Minnesota Vikings have another National Central battle on their hands tomorrow. They're playing in Tampa Bay. They're playing the Buccaneers, of course. Wade Wilson starts for the Vikings at quarterback. DJ Dozier returns to that backfield in that same game. Well, the 1988 World Series may be over, but a year ago at this time, the Twins were battling the Cardinals in Game 6 of the '87 World Series, and it was in that game where Kent Hrbek excelled in grand fashion.
Saturday, October 24th, a sellout crowd at the Metrodome at the edge of their seats as the Twins cling to a 6-5 lead in the 6th.
Groove threw in with a big home run for us. The first one, I guess, tied up, I guess. I don't know what the heck it did.
The Twins take Game 6, 11-5, setting up a dramatic showdown in Game 7.
You know, I think my fingernails have now just grown back after that series. Wasn't that fun?
Ah, the Gopher, it was fun. Gophers down to the 1-foot line. And they couldn't punch that ball
they couldn't
over.
put it in 4 plays. They got 1987 Viking-itis down there or something. Just couldn't do it.
I feel sorry for Goody. I don't know. Good man.
Well, you know, that team still, I think, is better than they're showing. But they got to stop making the little mistakes, and they'll do it.
All right. I hope so. Thanks, Eddie. With a song in your heart, you can do just about anything. You'll hear how the Minnesota Orchestra is helping one of its friends when we come back. Sometimes when you feel as if you've reached the darkest hour of your life, a friend's generosity can make all the difference. Musician Jack Moore is feeling that generosity times 10 this weekend thanks to the Minnesota Orchestra. Jason Davis explains.
In 1985, when the Minnesota Orchestra toured Australia, one of the people we met was timpanist Jack Moore. Jack, at 46, was a 12-year veteran with the orchestra and at the peak of his career, a lover of nature and of the outdoors, whose work was mostly downtown.
Music has to be done in big cities, and that's probably not the most natural thing for me.
Just a year after his walk in the snowy mountains of Australia, Jack Moore was struck down with a brain tumor. Today, the entire Minnesota Orchestra, with Henry Mancini and PDQ Bach, are rehearsing a benefit concert for Jack and his family. French horn player David Kamminger is an old friend of Jack Moore's.
But a member of our family, of the orchestral family, has been struck at the prime of his talents in his career, and that we feel the loss collectively.
As Henry Mancini and the orchestra rehearsed for her husband, Sandy Moore was at a loss to explain the depth of her gratitude.
Oh, what do I say? I don't know how to thank them. There aren't words. There just aren't words. This is overwhelming.
The benefit concert for Jack Moore will be at Orchestra Hall in Minneapolis on Sunday night at 8. Tickets range from $9 to $19.50. Jason Davis, Channel 5 Eyewitness News in Minneapolis.
Be nice if you could make that tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. He's a great guy. Thank you very much for your company. We'll see you here tomorrow at 5:30. And Ed, don't forget, 10 o'clock too, right? Please join us. Bye.